Hello, welcome to the channel on YouTube that is called Tarot of the Twin Sun. My name is Ron. I am your clairvoyant for this reading. I will be working with the Alexander Crowley deck. This deck was designed in 1986. This is actually my debut reading, so please listen. Been reading tarot for quite some time. Currently, the astrological sort of complexion is Gemini. The new moon in Gemini is actually a huge influence right now for you, Scorpio, and I would pay attention to balancing your sort of energies with the mercurial aspects of Gemini, the ability to manifest and to work with your inner world, as well as your intuition and your creative forces and your soul urge to sort of figure out the duplicity and the multiplicity of the universe, and how it has many manifestations that are tied directly to your magical capacity. Now, what we can do is do essentially a spread, and this spread will relate to your twin flame connection if you're sort of waking up to that. There certainly is a sort of poetry and dynamic to most twin flame relationships. Usually they are leaving from some sort of karmic resolution and moving on with true connection and a sort of soul capacity to reach some sort of freedom away from the constraints of the cycles of the world. So pay attention to that in this reading. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle from the cards. Once again, it's the Alexander Crowley deck, printed in 1986. And tap into the energy, the cosmic force, and see what the cards have to tell you. And it relates to your twin flame connection, if there is one. So basically this reading is more geared towards relationships in general. It could be also some sort of karmic shit you might be going through, which is inevitable in life, as well as soul partnerships or soulmates, if you believe in that sort of thing. Of course you would if you're on this channel. Okay. So the first card you have is the Princess of Cups, okay? Sort of like a page, certainly a type of energy that is more than anything tied to the wisdom of the forces of nature that have to do with isolation and deep sort of unconscious leanings with your emotional self, with ways of expressing this. I think it is blocked more than anything, which is sort of indicative of the full moon in Gemini type of energy that actually aspects your 8th house. So you would think that the mercurial influence would help sort of experience your subconscious mind as well as your unconscious mind. But there is certainly some type of blocking. As you can see here in the card, there is a turtle right around there. Turtle sitting in another type of shell. So we have some sort of double shelling going on. There could be, as it relates to your relationship with someone karmic or something beyond your twin, there's a mirroring effect, but you aren't really sort of there's a lot of shell shock that has happened, some sort of really intense, like sort of post-traumatic stress, I want to say, as it regards to you and your twin. Certainly some sort of warlike behavior since the last full moon in Scorpio, and the moon here, this card represents the moon, is essentially really trying to dive deeper into the ways your mind has essentially doubly sort of shelled itself, contained itself in a very prismatic sort of structure, And there's wisdom in that. There is wisdom in that sort of mechanism, but you have to realize that this mechanism is a stopping force for what's really sort of trying to be expressed, which is your heart more than anything. So I would watch for the capacities of your throat chakra may be blocked, and there certainly is difficulty in trying to express the sort of double shielding that's going on between you and your lover. And that's okay, you know. Sometimes we need to retreat and like totally heal and on the inside before we can go out into the world and sort of go on with it. But at the same time, while you're down there, you know, while you're down in the depths of the eighth house and trying to figure out things about spirituality and expansion and growth, you're under the water, and you know, like, just explore that sort of and just feel as much as you can, and don't try to knock yourself for it. All right. Below this card, we have the three of Pentacles. There sort of is a triangulation going on with your capacity to deal with hierarchies and structures of society that are driving you. They're driving you and giving you a sense of purpose. I think more than anything, you need to sort of tap into the 3D realm and really ground yourself there, you know, when it comes to like work or anything that gives you a driving force. This is like third chakra, you know, the sort of sacral area. There might be strength to be found there, even though it's been difficult to be intuitive in the right way. I think it's good to work with these sort of worldly forces and try to extract meaning and to push on with that. It's very important. There's also something extremely Martian about this energy. So all about like confrontation and like being up with your power, standing up in society and trying to go and push forward in that way while you're dealing with all this emotional shit that's like sort of blocked and like hidden and sort of a mystery to you. It's good. It shows an affirmation of like what you're sort of how you ground yourself in this current sort of place that you're in, this, you know, this material world. What's crowning your reading is pretty fantastic. It's the universe, das Universum, which is a fantastic sort of card. And basically it's telling you that there are certain guides out there that you are in cahoots with. You're essentially working with the sort of force of the forces of nature and beyond. Elemental sort of capacities. This is kind of like the magician, but not really. It's more like the divine feminine. There might be something more of an awakening in terms of your intuitive capacities that are working for you, and you're communicating with a higher force and working with it in a very positive way. There's a snake here which also talks about sort of Kundalini awakening. Maybe lately you and your mirror, your lover, your twin have been on this spiritual path that has been really something special, because the third eye is really open, and it's giving you the foresight as well as the capacity to deal with the universal forces that make manifestation. Really, look, there's something to be said about manifestation. Every sort of urge, every sort of creative act in it is an expression of the same thing, the capacity for love, really. It's the ultimate force. You think about things like the Big Bang or anything that has to do with conception and the sort of drives that are sort of, you know, built in with us to sort of manifest and like create something. It's really important to be led and guided in a very positive way by forces that are higher than us, that make us do things that we want to do, because we sort of have a path for that. And it seems to me this is very much a sign of awakening. Even though you are lost in the trappings of the mind and sort of grounded in a reality that, yes, is very upstanding, but like it's not enough for you, Just trust in the universe. There's something going on that you can always be moved by and move with. Um, Sort of in the challenge position, we have the Five of Cups, okay? Five of Cups, and trust me, I'm dealing with the same goddamn thing. It's a natural part of life. This is essentially the cup of regrets, of water that is no longer for fulfilling. It's no longer nourishing you. It's like there's something that has to do with your love life that is completely fucked because you guys weren't able to. Yes, you married each other. Your twin married you, but there was a mutual collapse in the full moon energy of Scorpio. Essentially, all these demons of the past needed to be burned off before one or the other person, you or they, could not express themselves or give, the time more than anything or the effort to drive the relationship forward. Okay. And this has to do with karma. This has to do with things that people have been dealing with all their life since childhood and beyond. This is an ancient wound, and it's taking iterations like left and right. But especially with this relationship, if you fucking care about it, it's really affected you in a certain way. And it also is sort of afflicting your mind. Your mind has been affected by this cup energy, and it's like you're unable to see because of the self-pity, any sort of any way to be free of the structures of the mind. The mind is a way, like a sort of storehouse, genetic storehouse that manifests, yes, universal aspects, but also aspects of the wheel, and how that turns and constantly turns all the universe and all the world. And what I see here is the inability to sort of liquefy or lubricate certain situations that are based on the material world. There might have been a falling out on essentially maybe a ritual sexual act that wasn't consummated. You may have been rejected. There may be sort of like an inability to be in the 3D with your twin right now, and that's fine. There's a certain regret that is mutual and that you both feel the pain, and that's okay. How to overcome this? Okay, let's go ahead and start shuffling a bit. I haven't shuffled much yet. How to overcome this? Oh. Okay. Yeah, once again, the pentacles come up. Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, or 9 rather, 9 of Pentacles. I don't know where 6 came from. Essentially, you want to definitely ground yourself, okay? All these fucking negative emotions, this self-pity, this fucking doubt when it comes to if you can even trust your mind. There's a certain amount of mania that has happened since the last full moon. This moon cycle is really fucking weird for you. But it's insightful, and you have to sort of make the connection to the material world more. You need to ground yourself. You've been off too much in La La Land, and this Neptunian, Plutonian energy has been such a fog, a miasma, a vapor, and it's hard to see through the firmament, and like sort of be okay with the universe sort of guiding you. Trust in that and like ground yourself. Yes, go back to work, get some shit done, and your twin will do the same. That's fine. All right. Okay, so I think this capacity. Okay, these cards wanted to come out. These are influences. Okay. Influences that are sort of, yes, hindering but also propelling your sort of reunion if it's going to happen, and it will happen. What I see here essentially is a combination. It's the Prince of Cups, Prince of Chalices, and the Seven of Wands. Okay. What I see here is agency. There's one person essentially hanging out and is about with the sort of emotional cup of love. Okay, it's been offered, and like I said, there might have been some form of rejection, or perhaps your twin is running away. But this cup was really in earnest, and because you're a Scorpio, the eagle is here, and it's driving the chariot of love. Okay, with this youthful offer of friendship, of real friendship. I'm talking about like best friend, you know, unconditional love sort of friendship. Almost naive, because there's a touch of romance in it. All right, and this is sort of what spoiled it, I think. The romance was essentially may have come across, though moving, as somewhat immature. Look, the twin is essentially all about unconditional love. Therefore, it is a sort of new philosophy. This is like the next step of human evolution. This is civic love in its most highest form. This is seven of rods, okay? Seven of rods shows me that there is a way to show on a sort of selfish level the capacity to unite all forms of passion into one passion. Okay, this is all about union. Okay, union is essentially breaking down in a sort of Uranian way everything, even Martian. Yeah, essentially, sort of like willing to be extremely violent with any preconceptions of passion or love or romance or any of this shit, breaking down all the structures and giving love to someone that deserves it. You know, everyone deserves it. And this is what people have to realize, is that there is a capacity for having a twin everywhere and everything. And it's all about this sort of unconditional, sort of almost patriarchal, sort of masculine, but then authoritarian love to everyone. You have to be royal in your laurelship and be able to sort of like be fucking a boss, and like give this in a sort of benevolent way because you are empowered. And this is how, essentially how you should move forward. It's a matter of respect, really. A respect that you're able to see the mirror, you're able to see this capacity for love in your twin and not have to rely on any sort of romance or attachment or jealousy or complacency of the mind. You know, you can really sort of let all that go and to love yourself as well as others, especially your twin, you know, in a universal way, in a cosmic way, something that's supreme and divine, and not having to worry about any sort of precondition. Okay, this is like no strings attached. What's blocking you from this sort of, let's see, from realizing the seven of rods? What's blocking the sort of like progression of this? Aside from obviously the obvious romance comes from the Prince of Cups. Let's see. Look at my shopping skills. All right. Well, not necessarily a block then. This is actually a stepping stone. Go outside, goddammit, and see the sun. See the sort of glory of ultimate fertility. Be positive. I think you have to, more than anything, adopt a positive mindset. Look, I know you've been lost in your head, and you're all in this regret and shit, and like you're romantically sort of lost. It's good for you to realize that there are blessings that come in many different forms in life. Many different forms. And they're all playing together. These forces is essentially the idea of, I think they call it Lila, which is the sort of divine play of the universe. This is like, I think it's like Krishna and like a bunch of yogis who sort of developed this philosophy where, yes, it is like a divine play, and like even though you can't get what you want, there's something very dramatic, and there's something in that drama that gives us purpose. You know, the capacity, the potential to feel and love for your twin, for example. Okay, And even though you may be in a running chasing dynamic and they're gone, or there's something, maybe a spiritual distance happening or a rift, there's something to be had in the bliss of sadness. Okay. The overall undercurrent of your reading is the Four of Pentacles. This is a card of creation. This is a card of foundation. This is a card that has to do with you being square with yourself and sort of drawing the edge of the mirror for your twin. Okay? It's all about grounding yourself in this fucking 3D world and having the foresight to plan out essentially how this is going to happen. So it all starts with the first step, okay? Be positive. Accept forces of the universe. Do not say no to your guides and to your spirits. Ground yourself. Work hard. Work hard. Don't let regret get to you. Be jovial. Even though it may come as a hidden joy, a little joy even, just realize that this world is like fucking beautiful. All right, Scorpio, like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate your views. Ciao.